University can be the best years of your life. It can also be very stressful at times. And in this video, I take you through what I think are the top 5 stresses a student goes through, and I try to offer you some advice to overcome it. But if you're new here, What Uni has some fantastic videos to help you find the right university and how to enjoy life best as a student. Now, if this is the first time meeting me, my name's Joshua. I've done a few videos now for What Uni, and I've got my own channel based on education. So if you want to see more What Uni or myself, stick around, you'll have a chance. But for now, let's get into the first student stress. And it has to be finding a place to live. This was horrible for me when I was looking at going to university, because I didn't want to get into a situation where I sign up for a place to live, but then I don't get into that university, because you're still under obligation to take up that accommodation, unless, of course, they can replace you. Unless you've got bags of confidence you're going to get into that university, maybe go for an accommodation so popular that you know if for some reason you don't go or you can't go, your accommodation can be taken up by someone else. Or sometimes accommodation can have like an insurance agreement that if you don't get a place, you won't be obligated to take that room. Now, say this is past your first year and you found a place to live, but you're already coming up to the next year and you don't know where you want to live next, who you want to live with, what kind of accommodation you want. It can be even stressful as well. I mean, I think a lot of people can jump in it too soon and they can find the next place to live sort of like January time. It's kind of risky because you don't know if you're still going to be friends with the people that you want to live with. You don't know if their situation is going to change. Maybe they change university or drop out, leaving you kind of stuck to cover the whole rent. You don't know yourself if you're going to be there at the end of the year. I mean, I hope you will be. It's stressful because you just don't know what's going to happen, and this is why you need to be careful and sensible when you're finding a place to live. But also be mindful that, if you don't think you're going to be comfortable living with other people, maybe don't choose an accommodation where you live up to as many as 8 people. If you don't want to share a bathroom, maybe get an ensuite. All these things can be quite stressful to think about, but if you just plan ahead, I'm sure you'll be fine. Budgeting is my next stress. It can be really hard to budget for someone who's never had to do it before. This is why it's important to plan ahead how yourself you're going to budget before you get to university. You need to have some ideas in mind of how much you want to spend on food, how much you might need to spend on transport, on supplies, on socializing. Have an idea of this in mind before you go ahead, because honestly, I think we've all at least know someone who's perhaps not budgeted properly and they're finding themselves in financial difficulty just in the first semester of university. Maybe they spent all their money on Freshers Week. You want to be focusing on your exams, on your degree. You don't want to be worrying about paying rent or making sure you got enough money for food as you go along. Finding friends, that's my third one. I encounter this quite a lot. It's surprising because students are really nice. University is a lovely place to be a part of. But yeah, some people do struggle. They don't quite click with anyone. Again, this is kind of a video within itself, but I found friends before I even got to university and I was moving away. I did it because I was on Facebook groups. I had a Facebook group for the accommodation I was staying at, a Facebook group for the course and even the university, and I just commented on people who said, oh, who's going to this university? I said, I'm going. And then we started private messaging. I did it again for the course, and I kind of knew a few people before I got to university. But then it's a case of just finding friends for yourself. It's mainly a game of interactions. It's just saying hi to people who's on your course, in your class, in your accommodation. It's being a part of group discussion in the classes, being a part of societies and sports teams, and you just find yourself, you will gel with people. I think societies is the best, or a sport, because you're around like-minded people. You've got something in common straight away, so you can really hopefully connect through that. If you have any issues finding friends, just comment below, let us know, and we'll see what we can do as a help. The fourth one is dealing with flatmates. Now, this was quite a big anxiety for me. It turned out to be absolutely fine and I was worried for nothing. All you ever really need to do most of the time is just talk to your flatmates. If they're being too noisy or they're being too messy, then you just need to talk to them. But yes, it can be one of the biggest stresses. If you've got a flatmate next door to you, student accommodation, banging out music to 4 a.m, it's annoying. If they're leaving dirty plates or they're using your plates, it's frustrating. It's not just stressful, it's antagonizing, if that's the right word. It's frustrating. It gets even worse if you've got a student house together and finances are involved. I've had a few cases, well, I've heard of a few cases where one person's put the broadband in their name and everybody else in the house needs to pay them their share, but one person wasn't paying, and then they changed the Wi-Fi password and it just got weird. It got frustrating, horrible, stressful. As I said, just the best thing to do is talking to them and being a bit proactive with it. Don't let it sort of fester and get worse and worse and worse. Just trying to get at it early. You know, if a flatmate's being quite noisy in the first week or so you live in there, it's just a case of catching them, you know, in a communal room. It's best not to knock sometimes. It's better to catch them, I think, in the living room or kitchen and just say, oh, I'm really sorry, was that your music the other day? Oh, the music was keeping me up. And try and avoid making it personal to that person. You know, don't say, you was keeping me up. You know, just say things, oh, that music was keeping me up. Is it possible you can keep it down? You know, I had an early morning lecture. You know, let them know how it impacted you. And you should be fine. But again, any problems with flatmates, comment below, let us know. And it might be worth doing a video on that. I think we'll have a talk about it. And my last one, it's workloads. University does get tougher. It gets tougher as well, I think, because you're required to do a lot more independent work. You kind of let loose to kind of do what you want in a way. But it's kind of harder because at university, I missed having such strict guidelines to what I had to do in coursework or in exams. University, it's quite flexible, and you haven't got teachers over your shoulder, you know, making sure you're doing your work all the time. That's my cat, if you can hear her, rattling her bell. Shh. She's finished now. But because of that, you have to manage your own workload, and it can be difficult, but as long as you have some discipline, have a plan in place, and you kind of like budgeting, you plan ahead, and you just be aware that you're going to be required to do a lot more yourself, then you should be fine. But again, any issues with workloads, just let us know in the comments. Again, it's probably enough a video worth doing by itself. But that's it. That's my 5 stresses. Finding a place to live, budgeting, finding friends, flatmates, and workloads. Hopefully this video has been useful for you. If you have any stresses you think I've missed out, anything that stressed you out at university or you're worried about, comment below. We'll see what we can do to help. What uni, as I keep saying, they're great. They have lots of resources. Have a look around, plenty of advice for you to sink your teeth in. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, leave it a like. Subscribe to What Uni to see more of their videos coming up, more videos including me, and we'll see you again. Bye bye.